welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and fanatics of all ages. Welcome back to your favorite show with your favorite bro. We are back once again, back to knock out these divisional dividers in the AFC and the NFC with the first matchup going down live before you guys do tune into this one. But I do hope you guys do check us out and then move forward with your games going on today and tomorrow in this here playoffs. To kick us off, first of all, in the matchup that we just brought us, let's get into it. But right before that, real quick, let me just veer off real quick. 6-0 in the postseason real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not, give your boys some credit a little bit. Just a little bit. 161 and 111, my bad, as a regular season record. A little bit of for that too, real quick. But now moving on to the matchup at hand to keep our undefeated streak at, bay, keep it alive, keep it going. For this one, Texans traveling to Kansas City. And I really do want to give it to the Texans. And I will pick them. You know what? I will be a hater and I will pick them. Last week we bit on the, hate. We don't like to hate, but, that word is too strong for it to carry weight with you. So, last week was more like a strongly dislike for the divisional opponent, both being out with the Broncos and the Chargers. But this week, with the Kansas City Chiefs, the two-time reigning and defending Super Bowl champions, how appropriate would it be that the team that they started their dynasty off with in 2019 for their first Super Bowl run with that 24-0 lead that the Texans had with Deshaun Watson, and then, they fall. Chiefs rise, and they have been rising ever since. But how appropriate would it be that CJ Stroud comes into their building like the Kansas City Chiefs did to them and takes their trap? How nice would it be? They are built like the 2020 Bucs team that took them down in the Super Bowl with two excellent pass rushers on the outside. They have veteran presence in the inside with Danico Autry and Mario Edwards. Shout out former Raider boys. There. So they have pieces around Fotkowski. He's gonna have to settle. Talk about settle. Tim settle. He's gonna have to settle that trenches down for them, for the pass rushers to get home. Those linebackers with Travis Kelce are always gonna have to be mindful. With Rashee Rice not being there, they're gonna have to watch out for D-Hop. Other than that, Worthy probably, but other than that, you're gonna have to limit your options really. And the secondary has really risen up how they were back then and how young of a secondary they were, like the Chiefs. So it is a very interesting matchup, but being it in Kansas City, it is the outdoors. Trusting between Butker and Kaimi Fairbairn, I know Butker's not, he's been looking iffy a little bit. Like, he on his plant foot, he always tends to, kind of lose it out nowadays. I don't know if it's just something that I'm seeing. But Kaimi Fairbairn, am I going to be able to trust him outdoors since he is an indoor kicker? It's going to be interesting to see 11 to 12 mile/hour winds. Refs in their pocket. I think Kansas City does have to kind of move on past this one, especially with Miss Swift being in the building. NFL can't let KC get out this early. They're going to have to at least go to the AFC Championship, keep that Patrick Mahomes hype alive. So somehow, some way, Kansas City comes out. But we are still hating on them and picking the Texans to come out of this one, putting our undefeated streak on the line, because naysayers will say something all the time. Next one, Commanders at Lions. We will rock with the home team. Why? Well, people, as much as we want to love on Jaden Daniels, let's not forget he's a rookie. Most of those guys are a rookie. By what I mean by that, Dan Quinn, first year head coach. The whole staff is their first year getting together. Yes, the run has been miraculous and absolutely spectacular. But there comes a time where, you need to shimmer down. It's not your time yet, but this just gave Washington so much hope, for the future, that the fan base can rally around something. They feel that they have a quarterback for them. Um, it should be interesting to see what kind of unfolds in their future. Let's see what they add on to possibly that O-line, possibly weapons alongside Terry McLaurin. There's going to be a lot of free agents that are going to want to go to Washington now. Will they get a new stadium? There will be a lot of questions to be answered. But I think the way that the Lions are playing right now, the past couple years, it's just their time. I think NFC Championship is the minimum for them. Just the roster that they have with David Montgomery being back, they're already self-motivated, but having that boost of energy of having Sonic back with Knuckles, they could go back to their ground and pound, which I hope they do. They control the clock. Then you're gonna have to watch out for Jameson Williams over the top. You got Sam Laporta mid to far distance, or even something short, and you have Amon-Ra St. Brown that could catch any and everything. So you have weapons all around. I know the defense has been always in question, but with Anzalone being back, I think they're kind of getting, like, Aaron Glenn's a head coach candidate for a reason. The offensive and defensive coordinator that have been in set, and the stability that the Lions have had. The fan base is going to be absolutely going crazy. They know they have easier path compared to the Eagles-Rams games that we will be talking. And let's just get into it. Eagles at Rams. Let's keep it pretty short. Last week they were motivated through the unfortunate events still ravaging on through SoCal, but I think Rams will have met their match so far. I don't think nobody expected them to be as far last year's playoffs, this year's playoffs. But they are a veteran team, a team led by an excellent head coach in Sean McVay. It will be interesting to see if there will be matchups that he can exploit. But the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles, secondary linebackers, they will be missing Nakobe Dean, but I think they have backups, whether it be Jeremiah Trotter or somebody else, that will be decent enough to fill in those gaps where or they will just call something else to get out of those packages to possibly still create the damages that they need to be. I think it comes down to the trenches. Lark Jackson for the Rams, their left tackle, is, I do believe, questionable, so that will be interesting to see if he does play or not. Eagles O-line, I think Saquon broke the Eagles franchise in-game record against the Rams back in week 12, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, or week 14. I do believe that one was in LA, but this one in the snow, it all comes down to the trenches. The running game, it will be prevalent. Kyle Williams, Saquon Barkley. If you got to go with one, you're probably going to run with Saquon. And even if it is the quarterback matchups, Matthew Stafford, with his limited mobility compared to Jalen Hurts, whether it is the tush push or anything else, it will be interesting to see, Rams try to come out of that. Talk about Stafford. I do believe he is 1-9 in snow games, so it is hard to pick him in this matchup as well. So this one we have to go with the EAGLES Eagles. And the last one at hand, the Ravens at the Bills. We were very, 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 very close to picking the home team and the Bills, but we have to rock with the Ravens in this one. Why? Well, based off of last week's matchup, it does not matter to that team how they win. It is that they win. To a degree, for both teams, it is very similar. There are not a lot of egos on both sides. They are actually very similarly built. Zay Flowers being doubtful, probably being questionable to probably not playing in this matchup will hurt the Ravens for sure. But I think the difference comes down to Derrick Henry, Daquan Jones, and Ed Oliver having to handle Faalele, Linderbaum, Mercari on the inside. That will be interesting to see how that kind of, unfolds. That's where it's going to come down to having to stop Derrick Henry behind the line of scrimmage. I do believe that would be a tough task for the Bills. For their linebacker core, I do believe Bill Inspector's out, so it is going to have to be mostly Tyler Bernard and recently returned Matt Milano. He's an All-Pro on his day, but just those two guys, if they do get hurt, they are very light at linebacker. So Derrick Henry has an excellent chance of a heavy dose. And with Lamar Jackson having over 10 carries, that will be interesting to kind of, like, what are you going to stop? Are you going to stop the passing game? Or are you going to stop the running game? Like, they will try to exploit one of the two. I think Lamar is playing one of his best, if not the best. MVP 1 versus MVP 2. Nothing to take away from Josh Allen. He has weapons galore all around. Keon Coleman, Amari Cooper, the tight ends. Khalil Shakir, I do believe KJ Davis is out, so Ty Johnson will be RB2. So it'll be interesting to see. It will be possibly a close matchup, or it is going to be a very, very, very one-sided matchup for the Ravens where they run away with it early. That's how it went earlier in the season, and I could see that happening again, even with all the marbles on the line. And then next year with a little bit more cap room, a little bit more finagling, let's just say, for the Bills, they come out with a little bit of a different side with similar attitude, but just a slight tweak to the roster that they do have currently. And then they hopefully have their year within the next couple of years, because it does look like Josh Allen is kind of starting to peak. This is just the start of his peak. So we will see what happens there. I'll catch y'all in the championship games.